And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. So please do me a favor, hit subscribe, watch, comment, keep them coming, and share with your family and friends because the insanity, it's not stopping. Now look, as I am posting this, the No Kings protests are starting all across the country. And I know what it's like to be a target of Trump. Looks like I may be a target of his again. And I truly recognize the bravery that it takes to put yourself in harm's way. So everyone, every single one of you who shows up to protest today is brave and doing their small part in standing up to Trump and his authoritarian playbook. Now, the other day on Political Beatdown, my co-host Ben Meiselas and I, we spoke about what we each can do to stand up to Trump and this administration, as well as these MAGA leaders like Kristi Noem and Pete Hegseth, who rule with force and zero empathy. Play the clip. Hey, to our brigaders that are out there, every episode I always say, help Midas Touch Network and all of the platforms that are on, and fortunate enough to be on MTN, in order to hit that 5 million number.
Getting close.
And to help to grow the various, very, very close, and to help to grow all of the platforms that are affiliated. Let me tell you why I say it, and I'm talking now from personal experience. When I hear Ben, who's become like a brother to me, we've been working together now for over 5.5 years. Ben was involved in my Mea Culpa podcast almost literally from day one. So yeah, I consider him and his brothers, Brett and Jordy, to be brothers as well. When I hear him turn around and say they're going to have to come after me and to pull the mic out of my hands and drag me out of here, I want you all to understand what he's putting on the line. And I have every right within which to bring this up because it's happened to me. And I want to just remind each and every one of you, I know what it's like to be the target of this man. I know that when I showed up to sign a document, which turned out to be a counterfeit document, who goes to a federal office and is asked to sign a counterfeit document? Factually violating my First Amendment constitutional right. They then handcuff, shackle me, strip me out, throw me into a freezer for 3 hours, and then put me back into solitary, making it 51 days. For 2.5 days, they didn't even feed me. You're not out, you're in, there's not even like an hour out in the yard, none of that. You're locked in and thrown away. I call it human warehousing. It is horrific. So when I hear Ben turn around and say that I am prepared to deal with the emotional anguish, with the overwhelming pain that this thing causes, he's not joking. And he's doing it for all of us, as I am, as others on this network are. So please, help us to build it so we could put an end to the stupidity that is taking place right now in D.C. I don't know how to impress upon each and every one of them. My vote is only one vote. So now I got Ben, and there's 2 votes, and then the brothers, there's 4 votes, and our spouse is great, 8 votes, mazel, hallelujah. Is that 8 votes going to change the outcome of the 2026 midterm elections? And the answer is no. It is you, this community, our brigaders, and the communities affiliated to the various platforms here on Midas Touch. I am begging each and every one of you, send this network, and again, my platform, other platforms that are on here, the Meiselas brothers, send it to one person. Imagine what that will do overnight. Not in a week, not in a month, not in a year as we get closer to the midterms. In one night, if you get one person that you're sitting with to subscribe and join this network, one night, 10 million people. And then you know what I do? I appeal to the same 10 million, to each and every one of you, saying, do the same thing. Now you're at 20 million. Do you understand what we're talking about here? We become the deciders of what happens in 2026. No longer do we become helpless, sitting on our hands as if, oh my God, this No King's March. Even if there's 1 million people that show up to the 1,800 or 2,000, even if there's 5 million, these aren't the 5 million people that didn't vote for Kamala Harris. We need to reach out, and that's what this platform gives us the ability to do. Reach out to somebody who was, I don't know, an independent, somebody that just couldn't vote for Kamala Harris and so held their nose and then went ahead and voted for Trump, or worse, were part of the 75 million Americans that didn't vote at all. We need to start reaching out, and that's what we do here on Midas Touch Network, on my Mea Culpa podcast, on our various Substacks, on my YouTube channel. This is what we're doing. We're trying to reach out to as many people as possible to bring them back, which sort of brings me, in closing, to my 2-finger salute for the day. And it has to go to Kristi Noem for being the piece of shit asshole who legitimately sat there and watched as these folks pulled a sitting U.S. senator to the ground, handcuffed him. I know what those handcuffs feel like. I was handcuffed, shackled, thrown into a freezer. I'm sure they didn't do it to Senator Padilla, but those handcuffs, especially when they want to really teach you a lesson, and they tie them they affix them real tight, whereby your wrists turn black and blue. It's not a joke. The man didn't deserve it. For what? For asking a question? For turning around wanting to ask a question? No bullshit. Kristi, fuck you. On behalf of every sitting U.S. senator, on behalf of every American, on behalf of every Californian, seriously, fuck you for doing that and not speaking up and turning around and saying the simplest thing. He's a sitting U.S. senator. Please take your hands off him.
Say anything, all right, well, let me answer your question. I'm happy to answer it after the press conference. We'll meet. I hear you. But everything gets escalated like that. And you know who escalates things like that? Very weak people, right? I mean, it takes a very weak person. And I think that's a good way to round this all out, because this doesn't send a message that this is a strong man, or that it actually sends the message that this is someone who is paranoid, who is weak, who is fearful that their power is fleeting and that they're losing their power. That's what this is a behavior of. Strength in a democracy is you let somebody ask a tough question. A senator shows up, even if you believe the senator was they're doing a political stunt. You know what a confident person does? Senator, what's your issue? All right, Senator, that's how you really think about the issue. Let me tell you, that's how confident people handle this.
Mr. Senator, here's some facts to dispel the argument that you are making.
And we'll chat outside, you and me, and I'll set the record straight. So, I mean, that's what, if you were strong and you weren't there to say, I'm here to liberate LA, when LA will, liberate us from ourselves, what the hell are you even talking about? That's where strength is. And, I think it was Governor Newsom who said, with Trump, it is weakness masquerading as strength. That's what he said in the interview, to me. And frankly, all of these Trumpers and the whole right-wing podcast broosphere, when I watch these people, these are the alpha bros. I've always looked at these guys and I'm like, these people are when I went to high school, when I went to college, these were the people who were the weak bullies who'd always play the victim and these weren't the tough guys. If you were strong and you were the cool kid in the street, to me, that was, you don't punch down at marginalized communities. You stand up to the bully. The bully was never there. The bully was the loser when I grew up. And they're saying the bully, with the help of corporate media, is the cool kid and the alpha. It absolutely is not. And we got to stand up. We've got to push back against that stuff. And we're building that platform here, at the Midas Touch Network. I mean, when I see Donald Trump, say, in the interview that I had with Governor Newsom, he said, yeah, back on June 7th, I was trying to talk about the National Guard, and Trump was like pretending to be my friend. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, let's talk about the issue. He goes, Trump didn't want to say anything to me negative. And then Trump goes on his little post and he's like, new scum, new scum. And it's like, all right, Donald, when you were there with the wildfires and Newsom was there and Newsom was taller than you, shaking your hand, putting his finger in your face and saying, say it to my face. What did Donald Trump do? Nothing. He's nothing. And the message that's being sent to China, to Putin, to Europe, to Canada, to everywhere, whether you're
to you, Ben, to the Midas Mighty, to the brigaders. He's sending it to everyone.
Is that for him, all he wants you to do is you're great, you're the best, wow, what a great deal. He doesn't actually care about anything other than having his ego stroke. That's literally it. So China lets him announce a deal. It's the worst deal imaginable. It's not even a deal. The U.S. caves. China says that in 6 months, we'll get to decide if we're going to withhold rare earth minerals to you in 6 months. And the U.S. is going to tax its own citizens 55%, while China taxes its own people 10%. And it's not a trade deal. It's not an agreement. It's not a deal. So the message, if you're any of these other countries, is like, just let him do a fake press release and you can get everything you've ever wanted the United States to give up. Just give Donald Trump a stupid press release and give him a fake deal. Anyway, we've chatted about a lot of topics. By the way, Gavin Newsom did his press conference, his address exclusively here on the Midas Touch Network on YouTube. We had 150,000 concurrent viewers watching it, and about 1.7 million in the first 24 hours. And then our other videos involving Newsom's responses to the Trump regime have garnered close to 1.5 million, 2 million views in the past 24 hours as well. So there's an appetite for people who are fighting back against the Trump regime.
Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.